welcome back to, I think this is episode 6 of Triple Play. Ben, Beckett, and Boyd here. It's been a minute, guys. Baseball season is well underway. We've taken a little hiatus, more focused on NBA playoffs and our brother podcast, Ballin. You can check that out. It's in the middle of NBA finals season, but we're back because so many crazy things have happened in the baseball world. We got to catch you guys up. And also, there's a lot of debate going to be happening today here. So we're going to debate some hot topics. We polled on Twitter, and you guys delivered a lot of great questions. So we're going to address them, see where we agree, see where we differ, and yeah, let's have an episode. So first, we're going to, break down kind of where everybody stands. And we want to start with the American League East here. It's been just a dogfight all year.
Yeah, the AL East has been ridiculous. For a while, every team had a winning record. Rays are in first at 46-19. Jesus Christ. The Orioles aren't that far behind them. They're 6.5 back at 38-24. Yankees are 37-27. They're pretty close. Blue Jays are kind of also right behind them in fourth at 36-28. And the Sox have kind of been on a skid recently, 3-7 in their last 10, 31-32. There's been a ton of injuries on them. Haven't really been able to get the pitching figured out. But, and this is kind of interesting, if they were in the AL Central, they'd be in first place because the Twins are in first there. Same record, 31-32. Twins have been sliding. Cleveland is in second there. This AL Central is awful right now. Cleveland is in second at 29-33. White Sox are right behind them at 28-36. The Tigers were in second for a while. They lost 6 in a row and are now in fourth. And the Kansas City Royals, who are somehow only 4 games better than the A's, they're terrible, 18-44. They are going to be big sellers at the deadline if they have anybody to sell.
Especially out of that bullpen.
Yeah, there's some good arms down there.
Aroldis Chapman, Scott Barlow,
Stoutmont.
Do we think we see this is the deadline that they finally move on from Salvador Perez, or you think he's a lifer?
He doesn't really have anything else to accomplish in KC. I think it's like a Miguel Cabrera situation. If he wants to go, he'll probably go. If he wants to stay, he'll probably stay. I think that they're going to give him whatever he wants there. Jump into the West. Texas has been amazing. 40-21, first in that division. 5 ahead of the Astros. Or 36-27. The Halos are right behind them, 34-30. They have kind of an okay start to the season. They won 4 in a row. They're climbing. Oh, my Mariners. Oh, I thought this team was going places, man. 30-31 right now. They're not doomed, but this division is really tough, and they are 10 back. So they're going to need to do some massive turnaround.
Julio's just having a little bit of a slump this year.
Surprisingly, the issue has been the offense because their pitching has been pretty solid. Mm-hmm. I don't know, a lot left to be desired from the Mariners, and then the Oakland A's, negative 200 run differential. That's all we got to say there.
Impressive.
Yeah,
listen,
it's like that. It's like when there's a kid in your class who gets like a 2 on the final exam. It's like you almost have to try to be that bad, and they basically did that by getting rid of every good player that was wearing their uniform.
Yeah, they have that kid Ruiz, who I'm pretty sure still leads the league in stolen bases. So
he's quick.
Yeah, there are little pieces.
And Brent Rooker's fun.
Rooker's really cool too. They have little guys who they're younger. I'm not sure if they'd move them, but you're kind of in this position where it's like you might have to because
the thing with them, they don't have any more pieces to sell.
They don't.
There's nobody there except for youngster. Basically a AAA team. So I think we're just going to see them promote a ton of prospects. They do have some good guys in the minors. Tyler Soderstrom is really good. They're going to have a good duo battery of him and Shea Langeliers. They're just going to suck this year and for the next 3 until they're in Vegas. It'll be really funny.
Do you think they could deal
team is in Vegas?
Years?
I don't think so because they just got him, didn't they? I don't think they get rid of him.
They got him last year. He's the only pitcher they have.
Yeah,
It's
Mason
rough.
Miller's not bad, but All right, I don't want to talk about the A's anymore today. We'll jump to the NL. NL East has been also a dogfight. Atlanta's in first in that division. Somehow the Marlins are second at 35-28, 3.5 back. They've won 6 in a row. They've actually been pretty damn good this year.
Is this when we pause? Is this when we pause and talk about Luis Arias? Because
we can talk about Luis Arias for sure, Mr. 400.
He's sitting at 403 right now, sitting up with, guys like Chipper Jones and Tony Gwynn and some of these guys who have had these crazy starts batting average this season.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is the kind of guy who could hit 300 all season, like high 300s. I should say.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to hit 300.
Yeah,
like
I would love for him. I would love for him to hit 400.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Sick.
I don't know. I don't see that happening just because that's so hard to do, especially in today's day and age.
Yeah,
he can get. I think he could hit 380 over the course of 162, though. I think he can put up like a Tony Gwynn caliber season and go 385, 390, and that would not surprise me. I think he's basically a lock to win the batting title in the NL.
Yep.
Phillies are in third, 30-32. They've been okay, just kind of hanging around. Their pitching hasn't been phenomenal. The Mets need to figure things out. They're 30-33. They've lost 6 in a row. They are not playing good ball right now. And the Washington Nationals are in last, but they got some fun rookies. So
yeah,
that's not terrible. That's about where we thought they'd be at this point.
The Nationals haven't been that bad, honestly. Like
no,
I thought they would
got
be
some
worse
good
than
youngsters.
This.
They got Josiah Gray has looked pretty good this year for them. Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore. Who's the other? CJ Abrams. He's been decent. His glove has been, but his bat has been solid.
Yeah.
So some fun youngsters down in DC, and they got some Fire City connects. In the Central, your Ben's NL Central. Milwaukee's in first, 34-29. The Pirates right behind him at 32-29. Your Cincinnati Reds are in third, Ben, 29-34. Just took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. Ellie De La Cruz is here. Talk about these Reds for a minute.
Well, listen, the Reds. I got a tweet. I was sent a tweet on Twitter a couple of days ago asking me, "Are the Reds finally World Series contenders?" And I said, "Whoa, pump the brakes now. This is not. It's not their time just yet." But honestly, the way this team is looking, there's a lot of energy, in that clubhouse. Maybe you could push for a wild card. I mean, I think the Central is wide open and will be wide open until late September. I still think the Brewers come out in that division, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Reds finish as high as second. I mean, honestly, I think that's around where their ceiling is. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz, what else can you say? He can do everything. Like fielding, like I think he's like registered one of the highest throws to first base from shortstop, like in the minors or something like that. I know O'Neal Cruz, he gets a lot of comparisons to him because of his skill set, but I mean, tremendous pop. Speed off the charts. I mean, just watch him fly from second to home on like a single. It's insane. I mean, this kid's going to make a big impact already. They're already batting him cleanup. Like, really impressive. Another guy who maybe getting some Rookie of the Year love potentially, Matt McClain, I believe. McClain. I always mess up his last name for some reason. I would say McClain. I don't know. McClain. But yeah, he's been like really good hitting wise, like batting like 350-ish, I think, actually, like since, or at least on this like stretch, but he's been really clutch for them. Had the walk-off the other day against the Dodgers. But yeah, the two of them have been really good. And obviously like Jonathan India, it's a crowded infield in Cincinnati, and it's a good problem to have. And then like as far as pitching wise, they got some guys coming up soon too. So this club is really young. It's really hungry. I wouldn't be surprised if they really, really make a run for it come September.
Yeah, they have some fun arms. I mean, Hunter Green, obviously. Yeah. Nick Lodolo, he's hurt right now, but he was really good earlier in the year. They just called up a kid, Andrew Abbott, who had an awesome debut. Yeah. And then Alexis Diaz has looked just as good as his brother out there this season for him. So I think the Reds have a really bright future going forward in the Central. I could see them. I think second is like their ceiling.
Yeah.
Because I really like the Pirates this season. They've been playing good ball. Even though they've definitely tapered off since their start of the season, they've still been playing really good ball. And right behind the Reds in the standings, 3 games behind them are the Cubs, who are just sliding right now. They have a very talented roster. They're just kind of getting hit by some injuries right now. They just one of the guys who's really blown up for them, Justin Steele, this year, who kind of has come out of nowhere to look like their ace. He's on the IL right now. And Marcus Stroman's been pitching extremely well for them as well.
That's what I was going to say. I called Marcus Stroman an ace before.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden this guy's looking like his old self.
Yeah. And that 1-2 punch was clicking for a good chunk of the year. Now that Steele's down, Stroman's still been great, but the rest of their rotation's trying to figure things out. Their bullpen's okay, and then their lineup's just been scuffling a bit right now. But they got some great bats in there.
Both AL and NL Central's pretty weak. I mean, NL Central, lot of young guys. They're exciting. Mm-hmm. It's an exciting division, but in terms of competing right now, I mean, the Brewers are fine, but they're not even as good as they have been in the last few years.
No. Yeah. And talk about disappointing teams. We'll probably talk a lot about them later. St. Louis. St. Louis Cardinals, a team that I picked this team to win the division, make a deep playoff run. 26-37. That's good for the third worst record in the NL.
Bad.
Oh my God, there's too much talent on this team for them to be doing this. And they're the only team in the division with a positive run differential, which just doesn't make any sense either. But I don't know what's been going wrong there. It's been a multitude of things for them. They have not been able to deliver. Over in the NL West, though, Arizona Diamondbacks are in first place over there. 37-25, 8-2 in their last 10. A game ahead of the Dodgers. They're 36-27. Giants in third there, 32-30. They're staying alive out there. The Padres are in fourth. They've been having a rough go of it. And the Colorado Rockies in last place at 26-38. So I think we can just get straight into the questions now. Keep it kind of topical. On Twitter, you guys came through for us. As Ben said earlier, one of our favorite questions from the Twitter pool, which is kind of related to what I just said, from Brandon Murdoch. Can the Padres turn their season around? What do you guys think?
Becca, you want to take this?
You want me to go? All right.
Go ahead.
All right. So obviously, Padres disappointing right now, 29-33. I'm gonna say yes, they can turn their season around. Does that mean they will? I'm not sure. But if you look at the Padres lineup, you look at the Padres pitching staff, even that bullpen, they're so talented. Like all around, they have the players to compete. They've got guys all around underperforming right now, and obviously they have dealt with some injuries. And Bogart's now being injured doesn't help, but I think this team can compete, and I think they're going to make a push. This is not a fourth place team. I think they go around the Giants. They might even catch the Diamondbacks. I still see the Dodgers as the 1A in that division with, you got the Diamondbacks and Padres right behind them. I don't think the Diamondbacks can sustain this for the whole, season. I think the Padres are too good to be 8 games back and 4 games below 500 for the whole year. So I do think they'll make at least a little bit of a run. They should be a playoff team, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think thought process-wise, we're pretty much in agreement there. Like, the Padres, really, really talented. And obviously, they've just found themselves in a bad hole so far this season. And, I think there's a little bit equal blame on pitching staff and lineup. I mean, both, I think, can be doing a lot better. I mean, you look at this Padres lineup, and it should be putting up a lot more runs than it is right now. Have to look up the stats at, expected runs scored. But, I mean, Soto's having a pretty nice season. I mean, he's a guy who's going to get on base for you a ton. He's been doing it. Tatis is back. I mean, between Tatis, Soto, Bogarts, Machado, these are four guys. Yeah, Kim's been great defensively. A lot of people say maybe
love me some Hassel and Kim.
Yeah, I mean, Cronenworth has been kind of but still, there's a lot of really good players in this lineup, and I mean, I honestly don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They could, but I just don't think they're going to do it, because at this point, something's got to change. I mean, you got so much talent. Yeah, all these guys could hit their strides in July or June or later in June, but I just really don't see it. I think the Diamondbacks are pretty legit. I really do think that I don't know if they'll finish winning the division. I don't know if they'll get the division crown. It would be crazy if they did. Kind of like what the Giants did a few years ago. But I just think, obviously, the Dodgers are going to be on top of them, I think, regardless. I don't think the Padres can jump the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are kind of in a similar situation where they have so much talent, and they could be like doing stuff the Rays are doing, really, like winning the amount of games the Rays are winning and putting up that kind of like, those kind of runs, but they're not really. So I think if you ask me, Dodgers, Padres, who has a chance of, getting to that, peak that like, they have the potential to be at, I'd say the Dodgers, honestly. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Ben, I kind of agree with that because, listen, on paper, the Padres are one of the best teams in the NL, right? It's June. You should be putting up numbers that are, relative to what you would be putting up over the course of a full season by now. Padres, I just looked it up. They are 23rd in team OPS and 24th in runs scored. So they're not delivering. The pitching has not been the problem for this team. The pitching's actually been pretty good. But they cannot score runs right now. And there are only three players, actually, hitting over 250. Right?
That's really bad.
Juan Soto's the only player with an OPS over 800. Right? They've dug themselves into a very deep hole. With the group they have in this lineup, I think they have the potential to turn things around, but they have a lot of ground to cover. I think they can jump the Giants. I don't know about the D-backs, man. The D-backs have looked legit this season. Like, they have been impressively good. The one bright spot, I guess, is that the Padres do tend to pick up guys who start to turn it on. Gary Sanchez is hitting the shit out of the ball now for them. But just, they need Machado to hit like Manny Machado. They need Tatis to hit like Fernando Tatis. They need Soto to keep doing what he's been doing, and they need Bogarts back and healthy. Because those big four need to produce more for this team.
And they need to get healthy. They need to.
Mm-hmm.
But with how bad they've been offensively, how bad they've been all around, just not being able to put the piece together and have the guys on the field, they're only 3.5 games out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And some that, like the Marlins, the Pirates, the Giants, they're kind of unproven. The Phillies and the Mets are almost in similar situations as the Padres. So
I would agree with that. Both of those teams have also underperformed a lot, and that's what's helping keep the Padres afloat too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just that so many other teams in the NL have also been underperforming. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed the playoffs this year, honestly. And that sounds crazy to say given the talent on that team and what they did last year. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We can switch to.
They have time though, but yeah,
they do have time. It is still early, and we've seen teams turn it around in less time. I mean, look at the Nationals in 2019. Look at the Phillies last year. You can do it. They just need to start turning it around like now because they have a lot of ground to cover.
And another thing that sticks out with the Padres, these guys among the team, like they have the best run differential out of any non-division leader right now in the National League other than the Dodgers. They have the Marlins have they're 7 games above 500. They're negative 24 in run differential. The Padres 4 games below 500. They're plus 16. So I don't know. I think they're due for some. I don't know. They'll bounce back. I'm pretty confident they'll at least bounce back and get in that mix pretty soon.
And to that point, I honestly feel like the Marlins are going to fall off by July. Like I don't have a ton of faith in them just because there's so many boomer bust guys in that lineup outside of Luis Arias, who's been phenomenal. And I think Jazz Chisholm is still like 50. I don't know if he's back from the IL yet. I don't trust them, man. I don't trust them. The Mets and Phillies are both, I think, going to vault them by August.
Yeah.
We can switch to a little bit of AL playoff talk. James Casson had a question about how many playoff teams will make it out of the AL East. What do we think about that, guys? Because the AL East has been the best division in baseball. All season.
Nick, how about you and Beckett debate this one?
Oh, absolutely.
Question, because
I'm going to say, I got my answer on this. I think 3 teams make it out. The Rays, obviously. I think they win the division. The Orioles, and the Yankees. Because I think the Blue Jays are overrated. I think the Blue Jays are going to regress quite a bit because I have not liked what I've seen from them so far. Alek Manoah just got demoted to a rookie ball. Like, they have not met expectations this year. I think the Jays are honestly pretenders. They haven't proven that they've been able to get it done in the playoffs. I don't think this is the group this year for them. I think 3 teams make it out, think it's the Yanks, O's, Rays.
See, this is tough because obviously only 4 can make it.
Yeah.
And the Astros and Rangers both
Astros
seem
and
like
Rangers,
they're
I think, are the
playoff
other two.
teams.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say 3 as well. But you guys know I love the Toronto Blue Jays. Like, I just think they're so good.
Mhm.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just have been sticking with them. This is like my 3rd year in a row where I'm like, the Blue Jays, come on, this is their year.
Yeah.
And I haven't hopped on that Orioles bandwagon yet. So I'm gonna this might be a bold pick. This might be a crazy thing that I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say the Blue Jays sneak in there, and the Orioles are they're gonna start losing a little bit. I know they're great with people. Hear me out here. People have been saying the Blue Jays have been disappointing so far, right? They've got guys that aren't performing. The Orioles, they've been fantastic, playing really up to their ceiling. They're only 3 games ahead of the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are due.
Yeah.
They made a run late last season, and I think they catch the Orioles.
You're hurting my heart because that's a good take, honestly. That's honestly a pretty solid take because the O's are unproven. I know this. However, they have been banging and they've been pitching.
Yeah, I know you love your Orioles. You've been on
playing
the Orioles.
Tough teams. I wasn't this on them. I thought maybe 3rd.
Yeah,
maybe 3rd behind the Yanks and Jays, but like I was on these O's a little bit, man, because they're one of the most fun teams in baseball right now. I mean, they got such a good young core, a couple good vets in there too. And obviously, you got Mullins, who's otherworldly. Adam Frazier hasn't been awful for him. Jorge Mateo, one of the most underrated infielders in the game, and that pitching staff has figured it out. Gibby's doing good stuff. Tyler Wells. If you told me Tyler Wells was going to be their best pitcher in the rotation, I would have called you crazy, and he has been. Once they get Grayrod back up, once he's clicking, that's going to be fun. And the 1-2 punch out of the pen of Yanier Cano and Felix Bautista is, I think, the best 1-2 punch in the AL, at least, if not baseball as a whole, coming out of the bullpen.
It's really good, but here's another thing. Like, the Blue Jays, I just think they have too much star power for the Orioles. But one thing, the Orioles...
They do, but they also are like the Padres in that way.
Like, I agree. If the Orioles make a move for a pitcher at the deadline, talk to me then. Because I believe this lineup can get it done. They've shown that for really the last 2 years. The pitching, so many random names mixed in there that they're all exceeding expectations. You know, they're hanging in there. They're winning games right now. But do you really trust Tyler Wells to go out there and start game 2 of a playoff series? I don't know. I think if they go out,
he's putting up numbers, man.
If they go out, sell some pieces off, and get a nice return, get a big pitcher back at the deadline, that could help them. That could change my opinion on them.
That's fair because they do have the prospects to do that. Like one of probably not Colton Cowser. I think he's probably untouchable, but I could see someone like Heston Kierstad getting dealt for some pitching help because they have so many outfielders and so many good outfielding prospects. They can afford to kind of sell a couple of those top 30 prospects and still be fine with their minor league system. Ben, what do you think about that? About the AL East as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like what Beckett said with the Rangers and Astros, I think those two teams are going to make it. I mean, like, the loss of DeGrom really hurts the Rangers, but, like, Marcus Semien has been incredible this year. Nathan Eovaldi has been ridiculous. I mean, talk about the Red Sox really fumbling and letting Michael Wacha, Nathan Eovaldi, Xander Bogaerts, like, all these, and JD Martinez. Like, JD Martinez is low-key having a really, like, one of his best...
career year. Almost a career year right now.
Almost a career year right now.
He's having... ridiculous. A phenomenal year. You want to hear another name in that Rangers rotation, though? John Gray.
Yeah.
6th in the league in ERA right now. Yeah. And he has a sub-1 whip. So, another name getting it done out there. They just, I don't know, man, I think the Rangers might have the best rotation in ball right now, even without DeGrom. Without DeGrom, they might have the best rotation in the AL.
I think, although the Yankees pitching has been pretty good. Like,
it has.
Their pitching has been good. It's the lineup that there's a problem. I mean, overall, like, I would take the Rangers and the Astros. Obviously, the Astros over pretty much almost all I'd take the Astros over, I think, every AL East team except for the Rays right now, just because of their postseason success. I think it's warranted. I think they've, established themselves as a postseason threat. Rangers are still unproven, but I think I take the Rangers in the playoffs over Baltimore, probably over Toronto. I think
Rangers over Tampa. You going that crazy?
No.
They start a series today, so we can see.
They do.
We can
They
see
do.
how a playoff series between those two might face
See,
out.
if that was an ALCS, I'd say I'd go 6 or 7, and the Rangers would have a chance. But overall, like I think I'd stick with 3. I think I go Rays, Yankees, and I think I'm going to go Blue Jays just because I think they turn it up and they have more experience in the playoffs than the Orioles. But I mean, listen, we'll probably talk about the Orioles in a later.
Adley Rushman's going to prove you wrong, but okay.
Adley might be one of the best catchers in the game.
Adley's a demon.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's a demon.
Yeah.
We can keep it with AL West talk because Brian Norman had a question about Jacob deGrom. If you guys want to go that route,
yeah, let's go that route.
He asked if this is so. Jacob deGrom, for context, he just had a season-ending injury. He's going to go get Tommy John to go fix up his UCL. This is the 3rd season that he's gone down with an injury. So Brian asked if this is the last that we've seen from Jacob deGrom. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Oh, great question. Hold up, I got to check something quick.
Yeah,
I got to look at deGrom really quick.
Jacob deGrom research.
Jacob deGrom, age 34, like you mentioned, Nick, missing his parts of his last 3 seasons. I mean, he's getting up there in age. I'd say I don't know if it's the end. I mean, he's going to miss the rest of this year and probably a good portion of next year if I had to guess. I mean, guys do freaky stuff recovery-wise. Like, still, like he's got to miss a lot of time. Let's say the best outcome, he comes back towards the end of next season, maybe a postseason push, but I think that's still iffy. Let's say realistically he comes back, he's like 36 years old. I don't know if he can do that. I honestly don't. I think maybe he gets 1 more season or maybe 1.5. Like, I think that's the ballpark we're looking at right now, and it really sucks because I love Jacob deGrom. He's so much fun to watch, and he's the kind of guy who is going to overpower you, almost like a Nolan Ryan type. I mean, you could kind of make the comparison. Like, that fastball hums. Like, he's just so dominant when he's on. I mean, was it 2020 or 2021 when he started the season off with an ERA like below 1? Like, just
that was
I think
2021.
that was
2021.
Yeah, 2021. He I think he came back from injury
he did.
halfway through the season and had because he only started 15 games that year from what I'm looking at, but he had a 1.08 ERA.
Ridiculous.
2018, 2019, like Jacob deGrom had one of the best 4-year stretches of a starting pitcher that I think we've seen ever. Yeah. Right? And that high of a peak, that high of a peak alone, I don't think is enough to get you in. But that high of a peak and like the career baseline that he set for himself, I think you could make the argument that he could get in just off of his career credentials now. I don't think he's done though. I don't think he's done by any means. I think that he can come back and he can come back really strong because as we've seen from more and more guys who go and get Tommy John done, they're coming back stronger than ever. I mean, we saw it with Justin Verlander last year. He was 40, I think, that year. So I don't think it's crazy to say that deGrom and JV are 2 equal caliber pitchers, right? Or on the same tier of pitchers, right? If JV can come back from Tommy John at age 39, 40 and go out and win another Cy, I don't think that's unreasonable to expect deGrom to be able to do that, right? And deGrom's a dog. Like, he is one of the highest effort pitchers out there. So I don't think he's done, and I think that he's going to come back pretty strong from this. It's going to be a long timetable, right? He's going to be out till probably July of next year, but I think he can come back. He can start putting out some numbers. I don't think he's done by any means. I think he could pitch. It's just tough because of the other injury history that he has, right? Like, if this was the only time that he'd gone down with, like, some sort of injury, I think this is the only elbow issue or Tommy John time he's had to have Tommy John. But he just has so many other injuries. That's the other factor of it.
You think JV's a Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah. Shoo-in.
I think the rings
First
push
ballot.
him over. I think the rings push him over by a lot.
Well, and the fact that he's just been so dominant for forever. Yeah. Like, he was dominant in 2011, dominant in 2021. Like, he's just been so dominant for such a long time. I think guys like him, Scherzer, all are first ballots. Those guys should all get in first ballot.
I think if DeGrom were to come back, and let's say like we get like 2 more seasons out of him, if he gets a ring and has and 2 really good seasons, I think he makes Hall of Fame push. I don't know if he's
Mhm.
first ballot, but I think that if he's got to make the Hall of Fame, he's got to come back and absolutely
Yeah.
shove and at least get to at least have a good postseason run. Because I mean, when I think about some of the greatest pitchers of all time, like dominance and winning rings are like up there. Like I
Yeah.
think if you're going to be a Hall of Famer, like you got to have a lot of postseason success. Like we talk about
Mhm.
Verlander. I mean, he's won like what, 2, 3? I think he's won 2, right?
I think he has 2 rings. Yeah, 2017, and then
And
last year.
last year, yeah.
Yeah,
I
two
mean,
rings, 3 Cy Youngs,
yeah,
Rookie of the Year. Like he's got some accolades. Right now, Jacob DeGrom is kind of just falling into like the Felix Hernandez territory of guys who like
yeah.
elite for like a 5-year chunk, but didn't play quite long
Yep.
enough to like be like first ballot. They're like borderline. Like I think you can make the case for Felix, honestly, just because of his peak and for how dominant he was during that stretch. You could make the case. I don't think he's going to get in. Like there's plenty of other pitchers like him that just haven't gotten the push because baseball writers are very stingy with who they
And
like
also
to
like
let in.
postseason success. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
really had too much postseason
Yeah,
success.
because
So
the Mariners never got there.
yeah. So if you're
And the
gonna
Mets
say
have gotten there once, I
Yeah.
think, with DeGrom.
yeah,
No,
if you're
twice
gonna
because he was on the
say
2015
yeah,
team.
twice. If you're gonna say like no Jacob DeGrom because he hasn't made postseason noise, and you can't say yes to Felix. As much as I
Yeah.
love Felix, he's one of my favorite pitchers all time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what say you, Beckett?
I agree. I'd say right now he's not a Hall of Famer. That being said, he's been the best pitcher in the game at his peak for multiple years. So I think he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna have a few more good years. And I think he's gonna be right on that bubble. Right now I say no, but if you ask me will he get in down the road, I wouldn't be surprised if the answer to that's yes. I mean, he's won 2 Cy Young awards. He's been in top 10 MVP voting twice as a pitcher. 4-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year. Like he's got a great resume on him. Only 84 wins, which obviously I'm not a big fan of wins losses as a pitcher stat.
Yeah,
But I think he needs to.
Mets lost him so many.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah,
he definitely
pitcher
needs
win-loss
to get at
means
least
nothing.
100 to make the Hall of Fame as
Yeah.
a starting pitcher and throw some more innings out there. Because right now he's just over 1,300 innings pitched. But overall, now no. But this injury isn't it for DeGrom. We'll see him again in a year or two.
Yeah. All right. One of the last, I think, just for time reasons, the last submitted question that we're gonna do is from the GOAT, Nick A. He's asked, "Who are our dark horse MVP candidates?" So I'm feeling we can go 1 AL, 1 NL. Some guy that's kind of low up there, but you can make the argument that they can make some noise. I'm gonna pull up the odds honestly because I haven't really
That's
looked
what I'm
at it.
doing now.
I'm gonna assume the front runners are probably Judge and Acuna.
Shohei, Judge, Jordan,
Oh, Shohei.
Marcus Semien.
Oh, Jordan. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, Jordan.
Simeon.
Wait, who was the other guy you mentioned?
I know who I'm going with in the AL.
Ronald Acuna in the NL is probably the front
yeah.
runner. Ooh, I don't hate that. There's some interesting ones on here. Oh, I got
mine
so
too.
mad right now.
Okay,
That's what
I'll go
I'm gonna
last.
do.
I'll go last because I.
All right, I got my guy for the AL just because I know it's going to piss Ben off.
Oh God.
Yeah, mine's gonna piss Ben off too. Are we thinking of the same guy?
Maybe you go first. You go first.
Oh.
Yandy Diaz.
We might have been
Yandy
thinking of the same
Diaz.
guy.
I mean, I was
We
talking
might be
the other
thinking of the
day.
same
This
guy.
guy's been phenomenal. He's playing a solid defensive third base. He's absolutely raking. He's hitting for power now, which he's never done. He's already at a career high in homers. He runs the bases. He's smart. He's hitting for average, power, singles, doubles, home runs all over the place. He's up there in WAR already in the American League out of all batters. He's
Second in all of the majors in OPS.
Exactly. Like, this is a guy that's been
Putting
raking
that
all
out
year.
there.
And we saw it at the end of last year.
Yeah. And I know that's going to piss you off, Ben, because you hate Yandy Diaz. But
Listen,
he has been putting up numbers this year, man. For the best team in the AL. And I think the best team in the AL thing is also a factor because that's always how the voters operate, right? They're like, best player on best team. That's been Yandy Diaz so far for the Rays. right? He's been hitting better than Wander Franco. He's been
Yeah.
hitting better than Randy Arozarena. And both those guys have also been putting up numbers and raking. I mean, the whole Rays lineup has. Yandy has been their best overall hitter.
Yandy Diaz ain't no MVP. That's all I have to say. Like, there's like the numbers he's been putting up have been really good. Do I think he's going to stay consistent for the rest of the season? No. I think that you're going to see guys like Wander and Randy put up better season numbers than him at the end of the year. Like, I think obviously all three of them are very good, and all three of them are going to have great years. But at the end of the day, I think that overall, Yandy, he's like you mentioned, the glove has also been a really big factor this year. He's been very good defensively there. It's just like, listen, I know it's a dark horse, so obviously take that into consideration. I don't absolutely hate it. I just hate Yandy Diaz. But like, is he going to beat a guy like Shohei Ohtani who's like pitching and hitting? Is he going to beat a guy like Aaron Judge who's going to hit like 70 home runs this year? Yordan Alvarez, I think, was my pick at the beginning of the year. He's not a dark horse, but like I don't think he'd beat Yordan. Dark horse wise though, it's kind of tough. Low key. Give me Jose Ramirez as a dark horse MVP.
Okay.
Even
his numbers have not been Jose Ramirez as in past years, but he still is J-Ram, so I like that.
The thing is, like, maybe a little recency bias because he hit 3 home runs last night and made a great defensive play. But still, like, I think this guy could have a really, really nice summer, and if he turns it up, like, I think this guy could win an MVP in his career. Maybe this year.
Okay.
It's very dark horse.
I disagree with your Yandy Diaz can't keep this up because he has hit like this before just without the power. The power this year has come into its own.
He's not going to be able to keep up with the power. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
No way.
I think so because his career high of home runs. Yeah, and he's the reason that the power is coming is because he's finally like swinging under the ball sometimes. Like he's been a line drive hitter his whole career. He's finally getting some launch angle in there, and it's paying off. I'm gonna say another guy in the AL just for the sake of it. I don't know if this guy's like MVP level, but he's been hitting well, and I want to talk about him.
Sure.
He is a Toronto Blue Jay, so Beckett, I'll give you that. Bo Bichette, right? Bo Bichette. He has been hitting .326 on the year. Best hitter on the Blue Jays right now. Fourth best hitter. He's actually the best hitter by average in the AL. Fourth best in all of baseball. The pop is there. He's got 14 bombs. The OPS is there. He's hitting .886 on that. And he's been playing a phenomenal defensive game at shortstop for the Jays. Like, Bo Bichette is... I hesitate to say breakout year because he's kind of been doing this before, but the average is kind of like... Because he's like a 280 kind of guy. Yeah. He's boosted that shit by 40 points. He has impressed me a ton this year. So I think he's another guy who gets some dark horse looks in the AL. In the NL, I really want to say Sean Murphy, honestly. I want to say Sean Murphy so bad. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say Sean Murphy.
Valid. We lost Beckett there for a second, but yeah, I like the Sean Murphy pick. He honestly has been having a really good season so far, and there he is. A fantastic trade, I mean, really, for the Braves going out and getting him. I think like he fits perfectly in that lineup. He's been having a lot of success. I mean, like power wise, getting on base, replacing guy like Contreras.
Yeah, they basically gave up William.
I lagged out for a second.
Nick picked.
I was talking about Bo Bichette, and then I switched to the NL, and I was talking about Sean Murphy.
As a dark horse, yeah.
That's who I was picking too. We picked the same guys. I promise you, I haven't tab up. Same
Dude,
too.
We were on the same wavelength with Yandy and Sean. That's amazing.
Every time we pick the same guys.
That's amazing. Oh my god. That's wow.
He's been good.
Wow. No, he has. He has been awesome. I just love that we both settled on the same exact dude.
As soon as I heard Ben talking about Contreras, I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely Murphy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. You guys,
dude, he's been great. Low key though, Luis Arias, I'm gonna give him some love too.
That's what I was going to say for my pick. Low key, I'll give him love.
No, you take this one. You take this one then.
If he hits over 400 this year, and the Marlins say they finish second or third in the standings, playoff hunt, I low key kind of would consider the MVP unless somebody does something crazy. Like, listen, I think Acuna might run away with it. Like, he's just been amazing this year, and it's just how can you beat that guy? Like, he's just so dominant. He's probably one of the best hitters I think I've ever seen. Like, and that's
he's gonna have a 40-40 season. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Calling it now.
Well, definitely with the bases and all the pitching rules. Like, stolen bases are still at an all-time.
How many does Acuna? Acuna has 28 already. Holy shit!
Yeah,
oh my god!
You might wait 50-50. How many home runs?
40-40. He has 12 homers, so he's got to catch up with the dingers.
So he's got to have a Kyle Schwarber summer to go 50-50. But yeah, I mean, I think Luis Arias. I mean, he could if he hits over 400. Like, when was the last time someone did that in a season?
Ted Williams, right?
Know. I should know that. It was probably like Ted. Like, not like that's ridiculous. Like, I think a lot of people say Ted Williams is one of the best contact hitters in baseball history. Maybe the. I mean, like, to be able to pull off a feat where you're hitting 400 in a season is absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that he could do it, like, that's an MVP. I don't know. Like, you got to reward, like, things like that. Like, obviously, Judge won the MVP. He broke Maris's home run record. Like, that's crazy. Like, to be able to go out and hit 63-plus home runs in a season is incredible. And honestly, like, I think Arias gets it if he hits 400. Unless Acuna or somebody else like Sean Murphy does something equally, or not equally as crazy, but, like, up there.
Yeah, on that level. Yeah, I like that because he's the average has been phenomenal, 403, right? The OPS has also been up there too because he's hitting a ton. He's not a dinger guy, but he hits a ton of doubles. So he gets extra base hits. Yeah. He's not just a pure contact guy, although he is he's I think the best contact guy in the league right now. Yeah. There's some other. I mean, Soto's going to get looks. Betts is going to get looks. Go ahead, Beckett.
Yeah. Real quick. Do I think Sean Murphy or Yandy Diaz are going to win MVP? No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
But I kind of took this as like dark horse guys is having a really good season that deserves some consideration, or they're going to be in the voting somewhere.
They'll get
Obviously, I do think Arias has a better chance winning MVP than Sean Murphy. I'll say that right there. But Sean Murphy for sure has been fantastic. Like, great player on the A's, but I never really realized he was this good. And like now he's getting that recognition, and it's like, whoa, okay, this guy is this good.
I feel like Atlanta just kind of does that to guys all the time. Like they do that to guys. Braves are one of the best like front offices in the game. There's and they're signing these dudes for like $70 million too, so it's like crazy.
I mean, like they lost Freddie Freeman, and I thought, man, like. I love Matt Olson. I've been saying for years, like, he's one of the most underrated first basemen in the league. And, like, you know, putting him in a situation in Atlanta, that's probably the best replacement, like, they could have probably found for him. Like, to play first base in Freeman's place. Like, I thought, okay, you're losing Freddie Freeman. He's the heart and soul of this team. Like, you know, like, you just won a championship. Like, what are you doing? Like, this might actually kind of hurt, like, their chances of, you know, competing. But no. Like, honestly, they might have gotten better, you know, losing Freddie and being able to spend money elsewhere and invest in some of these really underrated guys.
Yeah, well, because I think they took the money that would have gone to Freeman and they invested it into Spencer Strider and Michael Harris. And Harris has kind of had a down year. Strider is not. Strider has looked legit for the Braves this year.
Is he in the league in strikeouts still?
I think so. He is. Yep, he's in first. Kevin Gausman's in second. That's kind of nuts.
Oh, really? There you go, Blue Jays. Or wait.
Beckett's Blue Jays take is getting more and more validity, and I don't like it. Oh, my God.
Hey.
Then Shohei, Mitch Keller, Clayton Kershaw. That's your top five in strikeouts.
Mitch Keller and the Pirates, dude. Mitch Keller's had a great season so far.
He's having a great year, but he's been bad his last 3 starts. Struggled. Yeah. So we'll see if he can keep it up.
Yeah. He goes deep in the games, though, for you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty deep.
Yeah, he had a complete game earlier in the year, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he did.
He goes
all right. So that's it for that's it for the asked questions. What do you guys?
We gotta do one more.
We're gonna do more. We're gonna do more. Just ones that we come up with now.
Okay.
which we could probably
okay.
get each other heated on a little bit better.
Let's take real quick. We gotta do this. Can be like bang bang. One yes or no. We gotta do Keith Savage's question about Felix Bautista, just because this guy loves Felix
Okay.
Bautista. And
All
he
right,
texts
let's
me
do
and
it.
talks
Let's
about
do
it.
it.
Do you think Felix Bautista is the best closer in the league? Yes or no? And it could be like quick.
No, Josh Hader still exists, but he's almost there.
No, Emmanuel Clase still exists. I would take Clase
Also a W
over
take.
Bautista. Although Felix Bautista has a disgusting card now in MLB The Show, so will I be giving him some more love because he gets me, outs? I don't know, but still Clase. Like I've seen this guy live twice. He's great.
Yeah. That being said, though, Bautista's phenomenal.
He's really
So
good.
Yeah.
Top five.
I got Felix Bautista definitely top 5, probably top 3 right
He's top
now.
3.
I don't
He's
know
top
who
3.
I would say top 1, but I'm gonna say no just because of how many good closers there are. I'm not ready to give him the crown yet.
You could make the argument that he's top 2. You could make
Yep.
that argument.
You could.
Because I think he's on Clase's level. Just Josh
Do we
Hader's
want to
something else.
do we want to do keep doing like quick hitters like this?
Yeah. Let's quick hitter. Cy Young picks. Right now. Who you got? Who you feeling?
I'd have to look at odds, but low key like
I got
Spencer,
Matsu.
and probably.
I got Matsu.
Spencer
Spencer's
Strider.
not a bad one. I like McClanahan Gallon, low key.
Okay.
Zach Gallen's been
Zach
disgusting
Gallen,
this year.
That's
Him and Merrill Kelly have both been shoving.
Yeah.
Zach Gallen's been on another planet.
I would second that with McClanahan. I think NL's way more wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, McClanahan Gallon works for me. I'm not really sure there. NL, Strider's been good. Kershaw's been
Strider
pretty
has
good.
been very good. Strider.
Marcus Stroman, Dark Horse Cy Young, who knows?
Stroman, Nate Eovaldi, low key. You could make
Nate
the
Eovaldi's
argument.
been great.
Framber
Yep.
Valdez.
Well, I think I'll take Valdez for my pick. I think he's been really, really good. I
Yeah.
think I'll take him to continue to have a strong year.
Low key dark horse in the AL, and it probably won't happen because his team sucks. Eduardo Rodriguez,
Yep.
2.13 ERA on the year.
He's been really
He's
good.
been shoving. He's been shoving.
Another suck that got
Another sock that got away.
away.
Oh, and Sonny Gray has been awesome this year. I love how so many Yankees guys become awesome when they leave the Yankees. Aaron Hicks.
Hey, same with the Red Sox here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is
Fire
Ryan
Dave
Brazier
Bush now.
is Ryan Brazier going to be one of the best relief pitchers in the league in a year or two because he's on the Dodgers now?
Oh
Probably.
God, I hope not.
He low-key he can shove. He just can't find the zone, and he is just terrible. Like he's got a good.
He was
fastball.
great in 2018, and after that, we
I
should
think
have
he's a little
let him
washed
go.
now.
Yeah,
Not just a little. He's very washed. Respectfully.
Hey, got that ring on his finger, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What else can we talk about?
There was one thing I know you want to talk about, Ben.
Yes.
You like your young cores. You like your young teams, your young fun teams.
Yes.
What team is the best fun team? I know what you're going to say. Probably.
So, the team I want to say is the Cincinnati Reds. But I'm not going to say the Cincinnati Reds.
Whoa, okay.
They're my honorable. Because I think potential-wise, they might have more potential, maybe, a higher peak, maybe in my eyes at least, than the team I'm about to name. But I think this team you just can't ignore. I'm going to go Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of kids in the farm system. I mean, you mentioned Colton already. I mean, we talk about Adley. We talk about, guys like Jorge Mateo who, having great impacts like Gray Rod. I mean, there's so many good players that they have in their farm system. And while I still think the AL East, they're not going to be, going to the playoffs this year. Maybe they get a wild card next year, but I think in 2 or 3 years, once you see these kids get up to the big leagues, they're going to be, right up there vying for a division title. So,
yeah, they got some kids on the O's. The O's are probably they were one of the teams I was leaning towards because they're very young and they're playing at such a high level right now. Reds are definitely up there. Their rookies are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Ellie is electric. They've just been phenomenal all around. This is tough, man. I don't fully know how old some of these. I'm doing a little bit of research before I fully commit to something here, but that's not what I was looking for.
I kind of have a pick.
Okay.
I was gonna say believe it or not, I was gonna say the Orioles as well. I like the Orioles a lot. I'm gonna stay away from them now because I need to be different some way. I can't pick the same thing as you
Yeah.
guys always. You see, is it crazy to go with the Diamondbacks?
I was considering
I
them.
like the
They're
Diamondbacks.
not crazy young, but they have a ton of good young guys.
Yeah, they got some vets. They got, Zach
Yeah.
Gallen, I consider a vet now. He's only 27, but he's not really a young guy. But they've got a lot of, Corbin Carroll, they've got a lot of young guys to go with those vets, and they're up and coming. Gabriel Moreno, Ryan Nelson, even, I would consider pretty young right now in terms of his career.
Drew Jones in the farm system. They got another guy, too. Who is it?
Yep.
They got like another
Drew Jones that they just drafted. Jordan Lawler is like a shortstop kind of guy. He's, I think, in Double A or Triple A. So he's close. He's kind of close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the D-backs. I like the D-backs.
Okay.
I'm going to say something. There's
Lavillo.
so few teams to still kind of go with
it's
here.
It's hard to determine what you consider a young core, I guess.
Yeah. Especially in baseball.
I'd say under 25, 26.
That's kind of what I'm trying to go with here.
Range I go.
That's kind of what I'm trying to go with. No.
Blue Jays just DFA'd Anthony Bass.
Saw that. First time.
Amid some controversy stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
We won't touch on it too much.
That's funny. I mean, I kind of got to go with the Reds, right? Like, you had him as your honorable because you want to talk about Baltimore, but like this Reds team, man, they have so many good young guys, and they still have so many good prospects in the minors that are set to come up.
Yeah,
like I don't think this year's their year. Next year, watch the fuck out because they got some dudes coming up. I mean, in AAA alone, right? The Christian Encarnacion Strand. I don't know if you've seen some of his highlights.
Good.
This man hits at 450 in his sleep. And I think he leads AAA in home runs, or he's second or third. He's somewhere up there. Noelvi Marte in AA, and then the guys they already got on the bigs. Matt McClain, we talked about. Ellie De La Cruz, we talked about. Even just outside of some of their like rookies, they still have some really good youngsters, especially in the pitching staff. We talked about Diaz earlier. We talked about Green. We talked about Lodolo. But they just have such a fun group of dudes, and they just seem to be having a ton of fun out there. And I mean, India's not even that old either. He's 26.
He just won Rookie of the Year a few years ago.
Yeah. Good young group of outfielders too. Will Benson, TJ Friedel, Kyle Stevenson's only 26. They're on the ups.
Yeah,
TJ Friedel's been low key great.
They have a lot of young talent already in the bigs, and honestly, flash back to the first or second episode, I think, of Triple Play. I think we touched on it a little bit. I'm pretty sure I said, they're a team that, they know they're not going to go for it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well call some of those guys up, see what they can do. Give them some big league reps. You don't want to rush it, obviously, because, guys can, be a little damaged if you rush it too early, but these guys are ready, and these guys are, the Cincy's, I'd give them, a B+ at least for season.
Oh, yeah.
They might even be an A- in my book, because, they're winning games. They're third place in the division right now, and they're doing exactly what they need to do: get their prospects up and get them familiar with big league play.
Yeah,
I mean, they're doing a great job.
Honorable mention. I'll give the Pirates some love too.
Nick, oh my god, dude! I keep saying that I was gonna say that, but I swear to God, I was just rolling through the Pirates stats, individual players. And I was literally about to jump in and say that exact same thing. Me and Nick say the same thing every episode of every podcast, everything we record.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of scary.
Hey, I'm going to just say, though, Key Brian Hayes found his bat.
Mm-hmm.
It happened, man. He's hitting the ball really well right now. Obviously, their outfield group is really fun. Brian Reynolds.
Henry Davis.
I love that guy so much. Henry Davis is coming up. He's such a good catcher. They got another catcher, Endy Rodriguez, who's also really good. And then that Termar Johnson kid, electric. I mean, he's only in single A, so he's pretty far off. He's 2 or 3 years away, but he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's awesome. And hey, Jack Sawinski, I'll give that man some love. That man can hit some tape measure shots.
And on the pitching side, Oviedo's still only 25, and I mean, he's looked like a big league pitcher for a few years in a row now.
Yeah.
So
Contreras too.
good.
Roansy
Yep.
Contreras. I don't think he's that old. I think he's like 24,
23 years
25.
old.
23.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Young.
Okay, so he's getting it done too. He's getting it done too. But yeah, I really like him right now. We could wrap it. I think we could do like 2 or 3 more. You guys want to go?
Yeah,
we can make this a little bit longer. Stretch this one. I want something heated. I want to get you motherfuckers heated.
Yeah,
What
we're
team is
agreeing
the
on a
most
lot of stuff here.
Overrated
Really
team right now. Most
Yeah.
overrated team in the league right now.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I need some
seconds.
heat.
Give me 2 seconds on this one.
Yeah. I got there's some jumping around in here.
Team in the league. Oh, like low key. I don't know if I can say this one.
I'll go for one.
Go for it.
You go first. You go first.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Baltimore. The Baltimore Orioles. I feel so bad, Nick, because I don't hate the
Nah.
Orioles, and I do think they're a good team.
Nah.
But right now, people are treating them like a top 5 team in the game. They're not there yet. They're one of the most exciting young cores. They have one of the best outlooks in terms of futures. I don't think they're there yet. I think they're really, really overrated right now. But I could be stupid saying that because look, they're winning games. I mean, they can't do anything more than what they're doing right now. Like these guys have a 613 winning percentage. They're 14 games above 500, and they're they're leading that AL wildcard mix. Like, so they're obviously in the mix and they're showing what they can do. But right now, I'm going to say they're overrated. I think they're going to fall off. I think the Blue Jays go around them. No disrespect to Baltimore, but that's what I would say right now.
Dude, it's so hard because honestly, like, I don't think there are many overrated teams in the league. Like, there are very, very few, and I think you could make an argument for some, but you could also make an argument for those teams that they're not overrated.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Ben, you know who you could go with. There's a few teams. Obviously, I went with a team that's exceeding expectations right now that I think is going to fall off. You could go with a team that like the Padres, like the Phillies, like the Mets that have been pretty bad, but people are like, oh, the Mets, la la la, big payroll, whatever. They've been bad. Like, you could go 2 routes there.
I think I'd go Phillies for most overrated team because, I think a lot of people are a lot of people at the beginning of the year predicted them to win the division. Like, they've just been terrible, and a lot of people still have hope. Like, I love Trey Turner so much, but like, he had a great World Baseball Classic, and the numbers just haven't been there. And people are like, just wait. He's gonna, pick it up. He's gonna have a stretch where he just puts up crazy numbers, but I don't know if it's coming. Like, I love Trey Turner so much, but like, is he like is he gonna put up those kind of numbers? Like, no. Like, I don't know. And honestly, like, Rhys Hoskins not being there hurts him a lot. Like, not a lot of people will talk about it, but like, he's an impact guy. Like, having a veteran bat like him playing almost every day is big, and not having him in their lineup is massive. So honestly, I think I go Phillies here. I think listen, I think the Rays are slightly overrated. Not as overrated as the Phillies, in my opinion, but a little bit. I think they fall off a little bit. I think that they're great. Don't get me wrong. They're a playoff team, definitely. But are they, the powerhouse of the American League? I don't think so. I think it's pretty close to the top.
I want to be super spicy here and say something dumb, but there's just not really many bad takes to make here that can do that. Because I want to say the Yankees so much, but they're the 5th best pitching team in the league, so I can't say that. Their offense has
not
sucked.
That crazy. Yeah,
but their pitching is getting it done, and that's what's going to get it done come playoff time. I still think they're not getting out of the first round, but they're going to make the playoffs. So I don't think they're that overrated. I got to say the Padres because this team is just disappointed. They've been so disappointing. They suck offensively right now. They just have not been able to put it together with the amount of guys on their payroll. I got to go with the Padres. They're just so and everyone is like of the opinion, they're going to turn it around because of all the money they spent on their guys, but they haven't done that yet. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. Like we said earlier, I don't like this Padres team right now, and I was one of the biggest Padres guys at the start of the year.
Yeah.
They've really bitten me in the ass. I think either them or St. Louis has been the most disappointing squad, honestly.
St. Louis is another big disappointer.
Yeah.
Low key, yeah. How about for a question? player that you've most been impressed with so far this season. Like,
Ooh,
who is the player who's impressed you the most so far this
okay,
season?
I like
So
that.
many good options.
So many options.
So many options. Give me a second too, because I have to.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm trying to.
Like, as much
there's
as
so
like,
many good options.
as much as the growth had obviously he was already a superstar before, but Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back from injury and putting up these numbers already has been very impressive. I don't think he'd be my ultimate pick, but give that man some love because
Yeah, I like that.
blossoming into a face of baseball.
I like that pick. Honestly, Corbin Carroll.
Yeah.
He coming in as a rookie and putting up the numbers that he's been putting up, 300 average, 541 slugging, 11 bombs, he's driving a ton of runs, he's stealing a ton of bases. Like, most rookies don't find their groove as fast and as consistently as Corbin Carroll did. We kind of saw it start of the year with like James Outman. Outman had an awful May. He has had a really bad May. Carroll has been able to stick with it really consistently, put up those numbers, and just the skill set that the chaos he brings to the base paths with that speed of his is something else. Something else.
Yeah.
Yandy Diaz is my second option, but we already talked about him a ton.
Sure.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Nick.
Oh, dude, he was going to say Yandy Diaz. Oh,
you can still talk about him.
Dude, if we talk about Yandy Diaz one more time...
I swear I was going to do it again.
Talk about Brent Rooker. Just talk about Brent Rooker.
Yeah, dude, Brent Rooker's been amazing this year, low-key. Like...
Also, Massa. Massa,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Massa too.
Talk about Massa a little bit. He deserves some love.
Oh, he just hits. That's all. He just hits. Like, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He's 30-year-old rookie. Like, this is the guy has 500 RBI already in his career. If you include, his career in Japan, he's one of the best players ever over there. Like, he's a Japanese legend, and now he's coming over here and he's showing that his game translates. Like, he's phenomenal. He's top 3 for AL Rookie of the Year right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the batting title in the American League. I don't think that's that crazy to say with the way he's been hitting. Bichette's been phenomenal. He's another guy really impressed me, surprised me a little bit. But Yoshida has that type of ability to hit, 320, 330.
Yeah, he's been awesome. I don't know if I think he could. He should be. He should be top 3 for Rookie of the Year in the AL. I don't know if he wins it though, because Josh Jung has been also phenomenal.
Really good. Yeah, he's been really good.
I don't know. I like Josh Jung, and there's some rookie pitchers that I also really like. Yennier Cano should be in the conversation, honestly, for Rookie of the Year. He should be in the convo. There's a kid on the Mariners, Bryce Miller, who's been disgusting.
Bryce Miller's really good.
Hunter Brown too. Like, there's just some guys.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Massa wins it, but I don't think he's like the runaway guy. You know what I mean? And it's pissing me off seeing Gunnar Henderson still in the conversation because he's hitting like 180. Like, no. He's putting up Anthony Volpe numbers, and they're both really good. They're both going to have great careers. Some guys just don't click as a rookie, and these guys are doing that so far.
How about I give you guys a hypothetical question?
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
If I could give you an imaginary ticket to a baseball game, any 2 teams in the MLB right now, any stadium. Doesn't have to be the stadium for those 2 teams. What game are you going to?
I want to go to a Braves-Dodgers game right now. Okay.
In Atlanta?
At Dodger. No, at Dodger.
Dodger?
Dodger Stadiums.
So,
I haven't been there yet, and it seems like one of the most beautiful parks. So
that is so tough.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has to go to Wrigley, and I've never been to Wrigley, so I'll say
you gotta go to Wrigley.
Semi to Chicago, but I'd rather not watch the Cubs. Give me.
Oh Lord.
Who would be fun to see in person? Like, honestly, give me the Marlins. That's a weird one. I like the Marlins. Give me Marlins, Diamondbacks.
Some of the pitchers. Okay.
Diamondbacks. It's fun.
I like it.
I was low-key going to go Wrigley. I went there last summer. It's all and more that people say about it. It's really, like, top 2 ballparks. I still love Fenway the most because Red Sox fan bias, but also just Fenway's beautiful. Go to Wrigley for a day game. Go for a night game. The culture there is just awesome. Like, you got to hang out with the locals and stuff. Like, Plus, like, Chicago pizza's undefeated. But yeah, like, definitely one of my favorite ballparks. Honestly, team wise, give me. Ooh, this is kind of tough. Give me Rangers. I want to see Nathan Eovaldi pitch for the Rangers. And ooh, it's a good matchup. Low key, I'd probably say the Diamondbacks too. Gallon versus Eovaldi. I love watching pitching duels. Last year when we went to Cincy, we got to see McClanahan versus Luis Castillo. Amazing game. I love watching pitching duels live at ballparks. It's just the energy is just so exciting when it gets later in games.
Yep.
Ballpark wise, I'd probably want to go somewhere I've never been before. You know what? This might be a little weird, but give me Minute Maid. Give me Minute Maid Park. Low key, like it's just a weird vibe. It's a weird vibe.
I would pick like Coors before I would pick Minute Maid.
Minute Maid. Give me the Minute Maid.
Oh, I'm taking Coors over Minute Maid.
No, Coors is cool and stuff, but I want to see low key, like
Coors is.
There's got to be home runs if we go to Coors. I want to see a pitcher's duel. It's like
okay.
You don't want to see like the absolute 10-9, 5-home run game over there at Coors? Everything's flying out of the stadium?
But if I was going to go to Coors, I'd want to see like, I don't know, like Yankees and, I don't know, somebody else.
Braves.
Some power.
Braves.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly though.
A's Royals, that'd be an electric matchup.
Ellie De La Cruz at Coors.
Here he goes again.
When they go to Colorado, that's going to be
I might fly.
3-homer game. 3-homer game.
I mean, like he hit one like 450
under here.
458 for his first big league bomb. I think it was. And it was a tank shot too.
Yeah.
It was a tank shot.
Let me think if I can think of any more creative questions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's
one
another.
More. I got time for one more.
One more hypothetical. Time's running out for me too. One more hypothetical. If you could watch any pitcher all time pitch against any hitter all time, who would they be and who do you think would win?
Man.
Ohtani versus Babe Ruth.
Oh, that's fun. Who's doing what, though?
Both ways. They take turns.
They take turns? Who wins?
Who wins? I don't know. I never watched the Babe. I'm too young for that. That guy's ancient. But I think Ohtani wins.
Shohei's striking him out in 3 pitches.
Yeah, I think Ohtani wins.
Because I've seen some film of Babe Ruth's swing. It's like it would not hold up to today's game. That's for sure. Because motherfuckers were throwing probably like 85 maximum in 1930. Like Shohei's pumping 100 down the dish. Babe is gonna break his ankles on a curveball. Like that's just happening.
Yep.
And then Shohei's gonna tee off on him. Shohei's such a better athlete. Babe Ruth's overrated.
Yes.
That's my all-time hot take. Babe Ruth's overrated as fuck.
Can I pick a second one? Give me Jason Varitek on the bump pitching to Alex Rodriguez.
All right, I like that.
Give me Alex Manoah facing off against David Ortiz.
Oh my god,
600 feet.
Oh my god, give me oh shit. I don't know if we're ever gonna honestly top Shohei Trout in the WBC. That was something else. But honestly, give me Pedro versus Willie Mays.
Oh, that's a good one.
Willie Mays.
I was low-key going to say Pedro is my pitcher. I might alternate to Greg Maddux now.
Ooh, I like
that. Who's a good contact hitter? Who would give Greg Maddux a run for
Tony Gwynn would wipe the floor with his ass.
Low-key, either Gwynn or low-key, maybe Joe DiMaggio. Low-key. Like...
there we go. Now we're getting old school, baby.
Fun matchups.
Old school. Yeah. Let's get super old school. Who or not? Maybe not super old school, but we'll wrap it up with the little last all-time thing. Your GOAT.
Oh no! You can't play GOAT games in baseball.
GOAT. You can't, but we're gonna. You can't, but we're gonna because I want to get someone mad. I want to get someone mad because my GOAT's Willie Mays. That's just straight up. My GOAT is Willie Mays.
My goat
Oh.
is
You disagree. He doesn't like that.
No. I don't just. I like that pick. That's
No,
a
you
good
should
pick.
disagree because
he's
it's a
top
little
five.
out there.
He's top 5, definitely.
Yeah,
In my eyes.
I think Willie Mays.
the
probably,
glove boosts
that's
him for
valid.
me. The glove boosts him for me.
That's valid. I'll go. I really don't know. I like. It's tough for me to say when I haven't even like. Obviously, I didn't really watch Jordan, but I've watched so many of his highlights, and I've watched even in some of his complete games. Baseball is way tougher for me.
Yeah.
I'll go Hank Aaron. How about?
That's a good
That's
one.
my pick.
That's a good one.
I always go Hank Aaron as my goat. Respectfully, like Barry, like Bonds, even though he edged him home run wise, like as far as we know, Hank was not juicing. Like I doubt. I say like maybe a little bit of I mean everybody kind of did, but that's kind of the validation at the end of the day. Like everyone can say, oh, like Roger Clemens, steroids like shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but at the end of the day, like back then, like everyone was trying to get an edge and cheat. So like people say, oh, steroids, but like I mean, a lot of these guys have been cheating for.
I get both sides of it because not everyone was doing it. You'd have there were clean guys like Griffey, clean guys like Jeter. Yeah. Like not everyone was doing it.
And then there was Barry Bonds.
Then again, even if you are doing roids, it doesn't make you inherently good at baseball. It just makes you stronger.
Yeah.
So like, I don't hate the idea of letting dudes like Bonds in, so long as you mention the steroids. Like the Hall should let those guys in. And then have an exhibit being like, hey, because the whole if you look into the steroid era shit, MLB basically was okay with it right up until they weren't. Like they were not checking jack shit until like 2005. Yeah, well, because they were like, oh shit, this is getting like people are caring about this because basketball was taking over, football was taking over, and then the home run race between McGwire and Sosa was happening, and eyes were coming back to baseball. So baseball just kind of turned a blind eye to it. So because that's like the full context of it, I don't have a problem with letting these guys in because baseball was basically telling them, yep, you can do it, just don't get caught. And they weren't testing. So there was really no way for them to get caught. Yeah. So and these guys were phenomenal players, even without the steroids, right?
Yep.
There's so few guys that are just going to take steroids and just turn into star players. Like you have to just be inherently a Hall of Fame talent beforehand to even fathom putting up numbers like 600 career.
Yep.
So I don't have a problem with letting dudes like that in. That's my probably biggest all-time hot take of let those guys in, but also mention the roids. Like you got to mention that somewhere else.
Definitely.
Yeah. This was good. I like just chopping the ball for an hour.
This was a
good episode.
A good bring them back into the swing of things. We're gonna try to get more. We're gonna try to get like more baseball content for you guys, especially like now that NBA season's ending. Like we'll probably have we'll have a bunch of Ballin off-season content, but we're gonna try to ramp things up with
after the NBA draft, we're gonna focus a lot more on baseball until like free agency starts for hoops, and we'll probably just do like one recap episode of that. Honestly,
yeah.
Go check out. We just did an NBA Finals episode on Ballin. If you're into basketball, go check that out too. That was a really fun episode. And we're going to have some fun stuff planned for the end of the finals, the draft, the offseason, all that. And some fun stuff here because baseball's just starting to heat up. All-Star game is right around the corner. All-Star voting, I think, opened like last week.
We'll submit ballots soon for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of good ball still to be had. We're only about a third of the way through the season, so it's been pretty electric so far. Any weird stats? I don't remember if we do that here.
I can say, all right, we were talking about Yoshida for Rookie of the Year. Right now, he is the odds-on favorite for AL Rookie of the Year.
All right,
and second, not a weird stat, but shout out Matthew Mugno. Boom.
Matthew Mugno, we love you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All righty. Well, I guess should I close?
Yeah, why not?
I open the door. I will now close the door. Thank you guys for watching. I mean, Spotify, hit it up. YouTube, potentially. We're going to get some shorts, I think, from this episode right here. We're trying to go TikTok viral. So, really looking forward to it. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back sometime in the future for episode 7.